This podcast is brought to you by Prepatec Santa Catarina. Hi, my name is Fernanda, and this is the Why It Matters podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing one of the most pressing issues, the Sustainable Development Goals. We're going to be focusing primarily on the 16th, which deals with justice, peace, and strong institutions. The main objective of this episode is to provide information regarding the implementation of initiatives which were created to satisfy and fully achieve the established goal. As a result, I would like to include in this episode of the podcast information which was acquired through the interviews I conducted, as well as my previous personal research. This has been carried out through the proper investigation of the subject matter, as well as the carrying out of 3 different interviews, which seek to shine a light upon 3 varying perspectives. So, regarding the current status of our Sustainable Development Goal, we can develop an analysis based on several pillars such as democracy, citizenship, human rights, the importance of social justice, and overall environmental well-being. In concern to democracy, we can confidently state that there have been several efforts which have been carried out by our current government, which was elected democratically. It is also imperative to keep in mind the value of citizenship in regards to this issue, given that the active participation of the citizens of our country is what makes governmental efforts effective. These efforts are carried out with the sole purpose of looking out for the overall well-being of our society. They seek to promote respect for human rights and mostly enforce social justice through the different programs which have been developed. So, what does this even mean? Well, first of all, it is highly important to understand that democracy and citizenship play a very important role in understanding this topic. There is no way that we could achieve inclusive societies and strong institutions without collaborative effort from both the community and the government. Now, to provide a more personal intake on the subject matter, I would like to quote one of our interviewees, who is an upper-class citizen member of an institution which supports the Supreme Court of Justice. He firmly believes that we still have a long way to go to consider ourselves a truly inclusive society. I can honestly state for myself that I totally agree with him on this one. I have witnessed firsthand the negative effects of lack of governmental support, and I believe that when people are not granted the opportunity or are not granted the enough information to make conscious decisions, these always reflects negatively. He is one of the area directors in the Supreme Court of Justice and is currently enrolled in the House of Legal Culture of Quintana Roo. He is responsible for providing citizens with legal and jurisdictional knowledge so they can know their rights and are able to enforce them, and this way have a true access to justice. These efforts can certainly strengthen our rule of law and have had a positive effect in different communities. Now, we all know that there are many obstacles in our pursuit of peace and justice. However, these can be tackled one by one by taking concise actions to avoid problematics which are linked to corruption. To understand this, it is essential to conduct a proper analysis of the subject matter through the examination of governmental action. Therefore, it is quite imperative to include relevant findings from foregoing research made by the Mexican government. I drafted the following information from a document which was released in 2016 by the President of the United Mexican States, along with his Chief of Staff. It is titled Implementing the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals in Mexico, and it includes proposals for achievement, commitment, and results. The statement closely details actions which have been carried out by the federal government of Mexico in an indispensable effort to promote peaceful and inclusive societies. It also poses different initiatives which are still on their way to become implemented. Now, it is my intention to evaluate the current Sustainable Development Goal and how it has impacted human rights with a particular focus on Mexico. As stated previously, even though different efforts have been made by both the citizens of our country and the governmental institutions, there is still a long way to go to ensure everyone is properly integrated into our society and everyone has proper access to legal aid. These arguments are mostly based on the testimonies provided by the interviewees, as well as the extensive research which was conducted previously. Now, when dealing with a problematic as relevant as these, I consider it is incredibly important for people to engage and reach out with their proposals and solutions to improve the situation. Which is why I would like to propose 3 strategies which I believe can offer a true response for the problematic at hand. Firstly, I consider it is incredibly important to focus our efforts on collective campaigns which seek to raise awareness at the lack of commitment from society to foster more inclusive societies. Once again, I would like to take the opportunity to emphasize that there is a huge responsibility which relies on the general public rather than only governmental institutions. If the general public is made aware of this instance, it is more likely for them to be able to make a change and modify mistaken behaviors. In addition to this, I would like to encourage the citizens to demand from their leaders the protection of their individual human rights. This is a struggle which has transcended decades, but given that the problematic still afflicts most of us, it is our duty to insist on its proper fulfillment. This is it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. These are so very important for me, and I just wanted to transmit some of my knowledge, some of the information I've gathered through these past months of research, and the information which was provided to me through these interviews I conducted. And yeah, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. See you next time on the Why It Matters podcast.